What's going on, everyone? This is a quick Hokie Hoops podcast update. I'm Pete B. I'm here with Ed Williams, and we're doing this tonight because, according to Pat 40, Hysier Miller, our presumed starting point guard, was dismissed from the Virginia Tech men's basketball team due to some new information that has come to light regarding the Temple gambling probe. Ed, this is a little bit of a shock, although it's not as if that investigation was a secret, but I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody did. Obviously, the investigation's been going on kind of or started since um, March of last year. Temple had been their season was over. It was obviously before the transfer portal opened when the investigation took place, but the idea that Hysier Miller had any involvement in that investigation, that was not something on the radar of anyone when he entered the transfer
At least
portal.
not to the everyman, like the
Yeah,
fans. But
Yeah, I
there,
think the only people who may have known about that were the people doing the investigation. I certainly don't think coaches knew because he was pretty sought after coming out of the portal.
that's the
Um,
one thing, right? And in the article, it said they don't know the vetting that took place with the
right.
teams that were trying to court him and what kind of questions were asked. But you have to assume that they were aware of the investigation, and maybe you're going on someone's word at that point, and you've done a little bit of your own investigating and nothing turned up. But whatever happened, there's new information, and he's no longer with the team. So we don't need to go into the suspicious activity on the UAB line and everything. It was curious because we just talked about him a ton in our player preview and how he played so well in the AAC tournament. And that's something that kind of came up in this article. But regardless, I was surprised, Ed, because it did seem as if he had a good head on his shoulders. He was active in the Philadelphia community. He held camps for kids. He had the book that he put out on advocating against gun violence, but it doesn't mean that he couldn't have gotten mixed up with some bad people and or made some bad decisions. But I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm
Right.
just we don't know what we don't know. So let's just talk about the impact on the court because, as I said at the top, I thought he was the starting point guard.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably. I mean, no way to know that now. I don't believe, based on the timing of all this stuff that took place, that he participated in the scrimmage against Liberty. So I think, from a team perspective, they've maybe known this was likely heading in this direction for a little bit of time, which has probably allowed some more reps for Brandon Recksteiner and Ben Hammond at the point guard spot. I was fortunate enough to talk to some of the coaching staff and people around the program after or right before we did Slam Jam, which I hope everybody will tune into. And people are really excited about Ben Hammond. I was really excited about him on our first Hokie Hoop
You
spot
were,
before
yeah.
we even knew this was possible. But really excited about him and his ability and what he can bring to the point guard spot. And then, year two of Brandon Recksteiner, how much growth has he taken as the game slowed down a little bit for him? Because physically as an athlete, but then also as a basketball player, he checks all the boxes he wanted to check. Can shoot it, strong kid for his size. Can play point guard. So we'll see if the game slowed down a little bit. That felt like his issue last year. He'd get in there and things would get fast. So we'll see how things have developed for him. But in terms of the point guard spot overall, I mean, yeah, you got a lot younger really quick.
Yeah.
Miller played a lot of basketball, and B Rock and Hammond are true sophomore, true freshmen. So you got younger really fast. And, we've seen Coach Young deal with not having a true point guard on the floor before, whether it was Hunter Couture bringing the ball up or what have you. I think you could see a little bit of Jaden Young doing that, and situationally, he's more than capable of doing that. But overall, I think, yeah, definitely. That it seems like at this point, the annual unexpected blow to the Virginia Tech men's basketball program, less than 3 weeks before the season started. First, you
And
had Cartier Jada, and then Rodney Rice, and now this. So all three completely unique and insane circumstances.
I know I would ask you, like, why does this keep happening? But I know you don't have an answer. It's just if you go back, and we're not going to do it here, like there is a unique thing for all of these guys, and it just stinks that it's hitting our depth. The impact on the court also goes to the other players in that Miller is probably going to take a lot of shots. So now might have to shoot more. You're going to have Ben Burnham taking more shots and having to be a bigger contributor to, putting the ball in the basket. And some of those bigs that we know were a little thin up front as well. There's shots to go around now.
Yeah, there are, and yeah, I think you'll see, like you said, Jaden Shute, Jaden Young, um, B Rock, Rodney Brown. There's plenty of guys who can shoot the ball.
It could be a big thing for Rodney Brown because I feel
I think it
like
could be.
he
I
could
think it
take a lot of
actually will
those
be.
minutes.
Yeah, Brown for sure, but I'm very excited to see the two Jadens.
Okay.
Um, I'm very excited about both of those guys. I was excited about them before Miller went out, but now I'm really excited about them. Those two guys are dynamic with the ball in their hand and can really, really shoot the basketball. So excited to see what they can give us offensively, and then yeah, from the point guard spot, man, it's gonna be really interesting to watch early in the season. We have a couple, I won't call them cupcake games, but easier ones before we run into a higher level of competition. So it'll be interesting to see how B Rock and Ben handle D1 basketball.
Last
And
question for you while we're closing this thing out. Do you
yep,
think this changes your outlook on the season
that's
overall,
what I
like
don't
big
know.
time?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't decide on that. Like, I
Because
don't
we
know
haven't
what.
even done our record predictions for the pod. We're going to do those next week. So I'm kind of glad that at least we know what we're working with, at least we hope,
Yeah,
before we do our record predictions and talk about ACC play and that kind of thing next
yeah,
week.
I don't know, man. I really don't. I guess I have a better answer for you on Hokie Hoops. So everybody tune into that.
Yeah. All right. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the Sons of Saturday channel. We'll be doing the Hokie Hoops pod with Mike McDaniel all season long. And like we just said, part 2 of our season preview will be coming out next week, in addition to Slam Jam, which will be hitting the airwaves. We're not sure when, but soon enough. And until next time, go Hokies.